Here's a realistic look of expectations versus reality. But that's okay. It's all about just trying to make goals and meet those goals. And my goal was to read aloud more, and I met that goal. Okay, welcome back to my channel. Last year I did a video on the books that we were going to read for our homeschool year. I just have a picture of it right here. I don't have any books to show you because, well, baby's sleeping and kids are playing very happily right now, and I'm taking this time to film this rather than gathering up all the materials to show you. But you can click the video down below to see all of those books. If you are very visual, I understand that. You can also check the blog post that I did with that, so you can click the links and check it all out. But I have my list right here, and I'm going to tell you, we didn't even get to half of these. But we read so many books last year and listened to so many audiobooks. I am not too concerned about that. So we've read 3 out of the 7 on here. That's crazy. So let me talk a little bit about that. Swiss Family Robinson. We started it and I did not have any of their attention. They just almost groaned because I knew they shouldn't groan. But they really just had no interest in it every time I pulled it out. And we got several chapters in. So I'm not too concerned. I'm going to wait, I think, a couple of years when they're older, and then I'm going to try it again. Verbania Treasure is one that we are reading now, and they keep asking me to do one more chapter. And of course, I'm holding off just a little bit because I want to keep them asking. Rascal we did read, and we loved Rascal. There is also another book we have of his, The Wolfing, by the same author. I don't know if it's the follow-up or if it has anything to do with each other, but I found it and I picked it up, and they've already been asking if I can read it. The Adventures of Tom Sawyer. I tried reading it out loud, and again, no interest. So I had the audiobook and I started putting that on, but the narrator was droll. I could not get into him, the kids could not get into him, so we're going to try that one later. Mary of Plymouth by Otis. My daughter ended up reading it and just saying it was kind of meh, and since she's the one that kind of picked it up and did it on her own, I decided we're just not going to do it as a read aloud. Chester Cricket's New Home. When I had to downsize and I had a good set, and we really loved the first book so much, and when I was talking to some others, the second one, or Chester Cricket's New Home, just wasn't as good as the first one, I've been told. So I ended up just putting it aside. But we'll see. I might pick it up. Where the Red Fern Grows. Yeah, I got nothing for you there. We just didn't do it. Wheel on the School we didn't do. Mrs. Frisbee and the Rants of Nymph was another one we started, and I meant to push myself through it, but I think we started reading that just before we all got really sick. So we had done like 3 weeks worth of reading, and there was nothing there, and then we all got sick. So it got put on the shelf. It literally got put on the shelf, not in my reading basket, and I had forgotten about it until later because we had just picked up another book. Let's see. The Indian in the Cupboard. We loved it, but we loved that one. It's a really fun story, and we can't wait to read the rest of the series. All of a Kind Family. We actually ended up doing the audiobook and loved it. I will leave a link down below for the audiobook because it was phenomenal. Mrs. Pigglewiggle. We loved Mrs. Pigglewiggle. Some of the other stories, some of the other books that they did with Mrs. Pigglewiggle, didn't like those so much. Daniel Boone, Poor Richard, those ended up getting pushed back to this school year for our family read aloud. We'll see how that goes. Wind in the Willows. I have the sequel to it, but we still haven't read that one. Just didn't get to it. And then 21 Balloons is the last one I have for the list. And that was another one that we started, no interest in it. And at this point I was starting to see a pattern of not getting interested and then putting it aside, and I was like, no, we're gonna push through this, and we're about halfway through, and it's not like they don't love it, they don't hate it, it's just kind of okay. But Verbania Treasure they really enjoy. Again, some of the books that we did end up reading and really enjoying were the 3 books by Christopher Curtis. It's either Christopher somebody Curtis or Christopher Curtis somebody, don't remember. But Elijah of Buxton, Bud Not Buddy, and we did do The Watsons Go to Birmingham, but I was not thrilled with that one at all. There was boys, just, yeah, not thrilled. It's definitely an older book, I think, to read like teenage years when, yeah, anyway. So we did those ones. We have read up or listened to up into volume 5 of The Incorrigible Children of Ashton Place. Kids love them. We've also been listening to A Series of Unfortunate Events. If I could go back and do it over again, I would have just let the older ones listen to it and not really my younger ones. They do get a little dark, and I have a very, very sensitive 6-year-old. So, whew, the nightmares. My bed is not big enough. So, those are definitely ones we loved. We ended up doing Trumpet of the Swan. Loved that. It's all on Instagram if you want to go check it out. But, because my memory is not the best. We did Carolina's Courage by Elizabeth Yates, and we love that. I'm going to be looking for a copy of that. There was a ton of books we read for the school year. Just many of those. Swallows and Amazons, we read that this year and the kids absolutely loved it. My daughter found 2 more books all on her own at a used bookstore and bought them with her own money. I wasn't even with her. She went with a friend and brought them home and was just like, we need to do this, Mom. So we did that. War Horse, which we did for American History. Everybody loved that one. We've also been doing our family reading crate from Build Your Library, and so we read Sweet Home Alaska and loved it. That has probably been the favorite book of all of our of all the boxes they've done. We did Zeno and Alia, and I think there's another name part of that, but read that and loved it. And we haven't done any other ones, but those 2 especially we loved. Pretty much it. I just wanted to share those ones that we really loved. Some were like meh, some alright, so that's gonna be it. I hope this I wanted to make this video to show you a realistic look. Look, I made that list and I just released a video that shares with you the next 10 books that we want to read during the school year, and we're still trying to finish up 21 Balloons and Verbania Garden, and which is part of last year's reading list. So there's realistic look of what happens. Right now my husband's doing King Arthur with the kids, and we ended up doing different books and so many things. But the reality is that you make a list, but if something comes up that is going to get everybody's attention and get you all together, then go ahead and do it. My daughter said that at the beginning of the year, reading wasn't her favorite thing, but at the end of our 2018 school year, she absolutely loved it, and that was the #1 thing she was looking forward to this year. So, anyway, here's a realistic look of expectations versus reality. But that's okay. It's all about just trying to make goals and meet those goals. And my goal was to read aloud more, and I met that goal. Didn't meet the goals on what we wanted to read, but that's okay. And thank you so much for watching. I hope this was encouraging, just to know that, you know, the best laid plans doesn't mean that they're wrong plans. It just means that life didn't turn out that way, but that's okay. And I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching and taking time to share in our life. I'll see you. Bye.